Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week I hadn't a clue what video I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I wanted to do something placement related, something like that. But I decided, since today is officially the 12th of March that I'm filming this on, I am going to do a chit chat 1 year living with COVID video. I know, like, COVID isn't really what I want to be talking about on my channel, but in saying that, I'm raging I didn't do video diaries every few months, acknowledging like what was going on in the world, where my head was at, like what my fears, what my accomplishments were, what was making me happy. So I wanted to do a 1 year on living with COVID, basically just an experience video, where my head's at, see if people can relate. I put up question boxes and polls on my Instagram, so I have your guys' feedback as well. And yeah, I'm really excited just to kind of chat about the past year we've had. It has been a very strange one with lots of different emotions, and I want to just talk about it. And I want to have this as kind of a memory of this awful year. I think as Irish people, a lot of the time we tend to be like, oh, it's grand, you know, we'll be done soon, we're nearly there, like blah blah blah, just like brush our emotions under the carpet. Whereas in this video, I actually kind of want to like realize our emotions and acknowledge them, and kind of see what the past year has been like for people and what the past year has been like for me, and reflect on it. If you don't want to hear about COVID, just don't watch this video. I'll be back to normal content next week, but I just think it's important to acknowledge emotions and remember how we were feeling a year living with COVID. So let's get into it. 11:11 as I film a YouTube video. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. So I'm just going to obviously speak personally, and then I'm going to bring in some of your guys' like opinions on what you sent in as well. So at the start, this time last year, let's flash back, was a really hard time for me. Like, my show got cancelled. Obviously I had the Gael talked America, I was going through a breakup. It just was all happening at once, and I was very, very sad. Like, I was so devo about COVID at the start, and it literally took me months and months and months to accept what was going on. But now I don't think I would change who I've become now for the past year of experiences, if that makes sense. I worded it better on my Instagram. Basically, I put up a thing on my Instagram and I said, if you could go back to the last year, I said, if you could go back to last year, would you give up the person you've grown into or the memories you've made during lockdown for this not to have happened? And 74% of people said, no, I'm happy, I've grown. And 26% of people said, yes, I would go back. So, and we're in the hundreds of people who are voting in this, just for a little bit of statistics. So I think actually the overwhelming majority of people wouldn't give up the person they've grown into during COVID or to get that year back, if that makes sense. So I think that's massive. Like, I think just to know that you've grown so much that you wouldn't go back, wouldn't relive this past year any differently, is huge. So I'm going to start out on, there's 3 things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the things we miss most and the biggest fears we have at the moment 1 year living with COVID. The things that have made us happy and the things that have gotten us through this past year. And then the third thing I want to talk about is the accomplishments we've had from the past 12 months. So let's get into the negative side of it first. It's not something I want to dwell on, but it is something I think is important to acknowledge. It's important to validate your feelings and realize that the past year we've had has not been easy. And I want to kind of show that everyone's in the same boat and everyone's kind of having the same fears. So I'm going to start with myself. Things that I miss most and the biggest fears I have during COVID-19 have been, I kind of really narrowed them down to 2. So my first one is never-ending feeling of it. Like, the biggest thing I fear, the hardest thing I found, is just the repetitiveness and the never knowing, and the lack of trust in the people in charge, I'm going to say. Like, I feel like because of the way it's been done, it's just felt cyclical and with no rewards. So I feel like I've been in a 12-month lockdown, but nothing has come out of it. Like, I feel like our cases aren't low, we haven't got a zero COVID policy, like our borders weren't shut, we hadn't got the hotel mandatory quarantine, we haven't got enough vaccines. Like, all that sort of stuff makes me feel like it's never ending, and kind of makes me feel like, what's the point? Even though I am obviously abiding all the rules, but I'm just like, it feels very unrewarding, okay? And it feels like we haven't got a roadmap like maybe the UK have, and that I find that hard. And then the second hardest thing I found, obviously I found loads of things hard, but the second hardest thing I found is I feel like my clock's ticking, like in a weird way that I'm in college now, I'm in 3rd year, so this COVID started when I was in the middle of my 2nd year in college, and it'll probably be finished when I'm starting my 4th year. And for me, it just feels like I'm missing out on this small window in my life that I'm never going to get back, and I loved so much. And I'm really afraid, I'm really afraid of this ending and going straight into the workforce and being a primary school teacher and not having got that amazing experiences like the Gael Talk, like my J1s, that you'll never get again. And I'm gonna get upset now talking about it, but that for me I found really hard. And come here, I also want to make a disclaimer in this video, like I appreciate that people have lost family members due to COVID. I appreciate that people are vulnerable, I appreciate all that, and I'm not undermining anyone else's situation, but I do think it is important to, everyone's suffering is relative to yourself, so what you've gone through, you need to validate that, and you need to let yourself feel sad without being like, oh, but people have it much worse off, because sometimes it is important to acknowledge what you've been through and acknowledge how hard it's been on you and what you've missed out on, and grieve the losses of what you're missing. So yeah, I don't want to come across as it's such a first world problem. I know it is, but I want to acknowledge it for myself. So now let's look at some of the things that people on my Instagram have found hard. So I'm literally just going to read through them and show the patterns and show that we're all in the same boat. Obviously, the biggest one was not seeing people as much. You know, you're missing out on friendships. Some friendships have dwindled out during COVID. Not being able to hug my granny and granddad, well, so many people have said that. Not being able to meet vulnerable people. The Leaving Cert and the health of my family and friends, 100%. The Leaving Cert students have gone through so much, and this has been such a difficult year for them on top of an already really stressful year. The health of my family and friends, I feel like this is a huge one. I feel like a lot of people now can't leave their house, can't go on a socially distant walk without fearing what they're going to bring back, which is very hard, and never not thinking about COVID is very hard. Not knowing when things are going back to normal, well, that's exactly like what I said. Lost a lot of my confidence in lockdown. That's very sad, because really it should have been a time for self-love, and I think it is an important time that you should be starting a self-love journey. Would recommend getting into that. Really struggled this week, and I don't know why. Can we just go back to normal, please? Yeah, come here, it's what we all want, isn't it? And hopefully, please God, we are on the road now, slowly but surely. Slowly emphasised, but surely the vaccines are being rolled out. Everyone's saying having to step back from grandparents while we hug, when they wanted to hug. Nannies being sick, uncertainty, not seeing friends and family. Missing so many things to do with the Leaving Cert, not seeing my friends as much. It's huge. You're acknowledging the loss of your debs, your, you know, all these rites of passage, sitting your Leaving Cert even, your orals, everything. And you have to acknowledge that loss. Like, it's a grieving process. Why can't I speak? I like this one from Ali. She said, missing out on fate. 100%. Like, those moments where you'd bump into someone in a pub and you don't know where to go, or you'd meet a friend on a night out, or all those experiences we just haven't got. And I think especially in our 20s or in your late teens, it's such a huge part of it. I said fear of going back to socialising, and that's 100% valued. I personally haven't got that fear myself, but I know a lot of people who are scared of it going back to normal. Okay, someone said losing the relationship with my dad and my mental health. Like, mental health has suffered so much during these times, and obviously your relationships with your family are so tense because you're all living in each other's ear at the moment. Someone said not getting the first year college experience. Again, another valued grieving process, but I think the first years in 2nd year or in 3rd year will get the experiences that they missed out on. Feeling alone and fed up. Not being able to meet up with people, which could lead to not being social, 100%. Not being able to see the people I love, and working full-time since March was stressful. Yeah, those who are still working. Not being able to see my friends, family and friends. I haven't seen my best friend since March of last year. Me either. I haven't seen my best friends since March of last year. Fearing of the unknown, having nothing to look forward to or goals to reach. Fear of friends becoming distant. Uncertainty, not being able to see family and friends, not having anything to look forward to. These are all different people. College online. Huge. Losing a loved one and feeling alone. I think failure or bringing the virus home. I'm becoming a very anxious person. It's such an anxious time. Not being able to do small things like sit down in a restaurant. Oh, I literally cannot wait to like go to the cinema and get popcorn. Like that's literally what I'm so excited for. Someone said I feel like I was already happy with myself before lockdown, so it's been hard to look at what I've missed out on. In 2019 I grew so much and was so excited for 2021. It's so hard to see the missed opportunities 100% like valued, do you know? And I don't want to sit here and be like oh yeah, but sure, we'll be back soon. Like, I want to acknowledge people's feelings in this video. This is what I want this video to be about. I want it to be about valuing people's worries. That's why I'm not saying, oh, you'll be grand, because I hate that. I hate that you'll be grand mentality. Life just got so small and nothing was very exciting. We are all living a very similar life. We all have a lot of the same fears, and they're all completely valued. And yeah, we will, please God, once the vaccines come in, we will be back to normal. We've been through so much this year. So let's look at the positives now. So let's look at what's made us happy during lockdown. I've narrowed it down because I didn't want to say anything but too much, but exercise has made me so happy. Like literally tricking your brain into being happier. Like sunlight, exercise, endorphins, it makes me so happy. Time. I've loved having like an abundance of time that I would never have had before, even though I'm still so busy, but you know, you have all this time that you never would have had before. And I really have valued that, and I've really done things with it that I wouldn't have done. I've slowed down. My brain capacity has slowed down massively. Like, as in I'm not always as go, go, go. Well, maybe a bit in the third lockdown I am, but I'm a little bit more zen. Manifesting and giving gratitude, and then appreciating the little things. Before in life, I would have never realised everything I was so lucky to have I took for granted for. But now I think I'll never take for granted, say, I don't know, a walk, a coffee with friends in a restaurant, or a dinner out in a restaurant, or you know what I mean, that sort of stuff we just took for granted. Whereas now I don't think I'll ever do that again. So let's see what you guys have been enjoying. FaceTime and loads of Netflix and YouTube, literally. I sit down in the evenings and it's the happiest time of my night. Outdoors, the girls, including you, my fellow butterfly, thank you Ali. Yeah, Ali Dugan always says we went into this as caterpillars and we're emerging as butterflies. My friends and online shopping. Yeah, online shopping has become a massive addiction. Reading books. I've loved reading books. That's been one for me as well. Someone said you're YouTube. Thank you so much. College has given me something to focus on, put my energy into. Definitely, I agree. I agree 100%. So yeah, we've had all little things that have made us happier. The next part of this video I want to talk about are accomplishments in lockdown. This for me is so huge, so huge, and I really, for everyone who's watching this video, please put on some nice music tonight, light a candle and get your journal and write down everything you've done in the past 12 months that you're proud of yourself for, because you'll realize how much you're actually emerging out of this as a butterfly. Without the fear of sounding braggy, I'm gonna say like my list. I'm gonna read out my list of everything I'm so proud of myself for doing this year. And I know it might be cringy and it might be a bit bragging, but I want you guys to do the same, and I want to really just be proud of myself for what I've done in such a hard time. Yeah, don't think I'm bragging, but I want to read it. I want to read my little list out. So my first one, I said starting social media properly. Yeah, this for me was huge. Like, I was looking back at a screenshot from last year and I had 300 subscribers on YouTube. I didn't have any followers on Instagram, and I didn't have anything on I didn't have a TikTok. Now obviously I've grown so much. I'm making videos I love, I'm inspiring people, and I'm doing what I love. I would never have done that for lockdown. I was so worried about what other people would think and what other people would say about me. Whereas now I just went and did it, and I'm really proud of myself for it. Which feels weird to say, but I am. Next one was being 100% okay on my own. This time last year I would have stayed in a relationship that I wasn't happy in just for being with someone, whereas now I am like 100% happy on my own. That's just been such a turning point for me, learning to love myself on my own and not feeling like I need anyone else, and if I had anyone else it was just an extra. The next one I'm a bit embarrassed about, but in this past year I've gotten really into exercising, and I've gotten really into eating healthy and nourishing my body with good food. Not eating, which would have been a way I would have tried to get healthy in the past, but fueling my body with healthy food. And I've lost a fair bit of weight in the lockdown, and that's something I'm really proud of myself for. So yeah. If people would like to see how I lost weight in lockdown, I would like to do that video. I would like to do what I eat in a day and my exercise routine, but I also don't want it to be triggering for people who I know might be suffering with eating disorders and things like that. If it's something you'd like, comment it below. I might do a poll on my Instagram whether I'll do that video. I'm still unsure. The next one is setting up my own business. So I set up my own teaching business in this lockdown, grinds, giving lessons, and I'm really proud of myself for it. And I have a lovely community of girls and young kids who I teach. I got my driver's theory and I'm working towards starting to drive. College during the pandemic, just getting through college day to day during the pandemic is such a huge achievement for me. I feel like as Irish people it's kind of not a done thing to like just sit here and say things you're proud of yourself for. But I want to normalise that and I want you guys to do the same. I'm gonna read out your ones now. We have starting my own business. That's amazing. Getting through school, online school during a pandemic, especially as a Leaving Cert student, such a massive achievement. To deal with the uncertainty of this past year is huge. Growing more in self-confidence and appreciation of life, well, I said it as well. Learning to love yourself and appreciating the little things. Got accepted into my dream course. I'm going to be a primary school teacher. Well done. Well, I could say your first name. Well done, Rachel. That's amazing. I'm really, really proud of you. That's unbelievable. Someone said I've started focusing on my goals and personal achievements so much more. I published in the Irish Times in May. That's huge. Well done. That's amazing. Kiana said getting a college place in primary school teaching. Well done. That's amazing. I've gotten more confident in my body. Huge. That's such an amazing achievement, and it just comes from within. It's not about a number on the scales. It's about literally how you feel in yourself. Starting this business, I'd be lost without it. A massive achievement. Trying to better myself by having time away from people who drag you down. That's so huge, and cutting off negative people is something I did in lockdown, and it's made me so much happier as a person. Jessica said getting into Merino and making some of the best friends in college despite being online. Well done, Jessica. That's such an achievement. It gave me time to grow. I got out of a toxic relationship, lost unhealthy weight and got better. Well, that is just amazing. That's such an achievement. Also got into a relationship after growing with the love of my life. Aww, so cute. Saved enough to buy myself my first car and still saving loads. That's actually something I've done as well. I didn't put that down, but yeah, saving is huge, and having money for when life goes back to normal or buying nice things. Finally learning to fuel my body with yummy whole foods that makes me feel good. That's it. I used to try and lose weight by like missing meals and things like that, whereas now I just eat healthy and it makes me feel so much better, and it's such a big turning corner. Lots of resilience, huge. Getting out of a dark place mentally and finally accepting and loving myself for who I am. Could you want any more? This time last year I was looking back at videos of myself and I was so sad, and even my voice was just so sad, and it made me really sad looking back at it. But you need to look back at it and say, look how much I've grown and how much I've come out of it the other side. Passed my driving test, thank God. Nowhere to go, but at least I can escape to go to the shop and drive to school, and at least you're driving for when life goes back to normal. Getting my driver's license, well done. I've grown as a person and become stronger. Moving school, well done. Accepting the situation and making the most of it no matter what, and doing okay in college and learning to love myself properly. So I think that just summarizes everything I wanted this video to be. So I wanted this video to be acknowledging our sad feelings and learning to accept them and be okay with giving ourselves the credit for getting through this year, what can make us happier, and then what we've accomplished in the past year. I just want to say to each and every one of you, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing all your accomplishments and your things you found hard with me. Thank you also for following me. Like this past year, all this social media stuff has gotten me through. A lot of this year has given me a purpose, given me a reason like to make videos and everything like that, and it means so much to me that people enjoy them. I really, really appreciate it so much that people watch them. I want to give some thank yous to people who shouted me out in 2 videos ago, who put me on their story or DM me a photo of them watching. So thank you, Chloe, so much for sending me a nice video. Thank you to Ellie. Thank you, Evine. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Key. Thank you to Abby. Literally, like, I have so many screenshots and it's just getting more and more every week. I'm so proud of everyone for getting through this past year, whatever way you got through it. Even if you didn't accomplish something as big, like that you can actually tangible, just getting through this year was an accomplishment. Always remember to validate your own feelings. Don't put yourself down, don't sweep your feelings under the rug, and go ahead and write yourself a list of everything you're proud of yourself for accomplishing this year. If you aren't already, please do subscribe to me. Like, hitting 2k, like I was on 300 this time last year, like hitting 2k for me is such an achievement. We're nearly at 2.1 now, so if you aren't subscribed, please do. Please follow my TikTok and my Instagram. I'll leave them both on the screen there. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through the last few months of this. At the end of this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to Abby's Shodra on Instagram. She made me this beautiful bracelet that says Sauced on it. She makes all different beaded bracelets with Irish words on it. So I'm gonna leave her Instagram here. Go check her out and give her a follow because she's such a kind person, and this made me so happy. And have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.